For me, we were overseas when we heard the news, so we were 24 hours into an overseas trip and we were in Holland. So what was helpful for me was I made the call to my family and they all rallied together and met me in Canberra where my daughter passed, and my husband. And I think for us what was helpful is that being overseas you have to arrange flights and accommodation, and what was helpful for me is from the time we heard the news, where we were staying at the time, and the airlines were amazing, and if they hadn't been so accommodating and understanding, I don't know where Pete and I would have gone. So while it was at the very start of the journey, and there's been a lot of occasions that I can recognise from then on, for me that first initial hour of hearing that news, that was important for me and helped us cope. So we arrived in Canberra. My family's in Queensland. So helpful was just that I made the call to them all and they all hopped in their cars and drove. To have that family around was just unbelievable because we had no family in Canberra. Yeah. So for us it was just family and friends. There was no hesitation, nobody asked any questions. They were just there and we were lucky, very lucky.
Well, I thought the police were very compassionate. When I got home and a neighbour had told me that the police had been there, I rang the local police station and asked were they looking for me. They said yes, and I said, is it about my son? And they said, oh look, we'll be round. They wouldn't tell me anything on the phone, but when they came round and I let them in, the policewoman gave me a big hug and I said, is it my son? And she said yes, and I said, is he dead? And she said yes. So, but they were very nice. I felt the young constable, the male, was a bit embarrassed, but she was lovely. Then we spent the day with the family. I did get I got a lot of flowers from people, which was really nice in the following week. But I was fine. I wasn't surprised. I knew that this was going to happen. I didn't want it to happen, but we had tried for 9 years. And Mark himself had only texted me a few days earlier and said, Mum, I don't think they can make me any better. I'm too sick, even though he was meant to be going into an establishment to have some treatment the day after. I wasn't surprised. I was terribly upset. I'm still very upset, but it had happened. The people in the unit complex where I lived, one person came with a barrel of biscuits, but nobody else. Even to this day, many people there have never mentioned it to me, so either they don't know or they're not going to speak to me. That's one thing I find really annoying, that people, for some reason or other, don't want to speak to you about it. And all I do from morning till night is talk about Mark.